Riveting content. Empowering your life. Welcome to the Sphere. This episode is sponsored by Houston Housewives of Finance. For more information on increasing your cash flow, becoming your own money manager, and to schedule your complimentary personal finance strategy, contact the Houston Housewives of Finance today at 1-844-700-4463.
The Sphere Network. Looking to advertise? Join the Sphere's vast demographic reach of thousands of people all over the world. Send an email today at advertise@thesphere.tv or call us at area code 832-772-7789. Elite Dental Wellness. At Elite Dental Wellness, Dr. Ashandra Baptiste understands that one of the biggest obstacles is dental fear. The vision at Elite Dental Wellness is to ensure every patient is treated with respect, ultimate care, patience, and love. Call us today to make an appointment at area code 713-789-8680.
What's up, good people? Welcome back to Technocrats, where we talk about the ins and outs of technology to empower the digital you. I am your host, Gary Lee, also known as G Hawkins. Of course, you can find me anywhere online: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat at G Hawkins. That's G Hawkins with the Z. And to my left, to your right, is my main man, Jay. What's up, Jay? How you feeling today, bro?
Hi, how's everyone doing? I'm doing pretty good, man. You know, honestly, a little tired. You know, we had the busy weekend. Got a lot of things going on. Had some family that's in town, flew in today from the island, so looking forward to their activity with them this week. And also, we got some good news in tech, bro.
Yeah.
So, but how you been doing?
I've been all right, man. So, wait. You got family flew in from the islands? Let's talk about that, man. What's up?
Oh, yeah. So they coming in. They came in earlier today. My brother went and picked them up.
From where?
They coming from Mexico, and then also have some from Bahamas.
That's what's
yeah,
up,
coming
man.
in. So looking forward to seeing
I'm
them later
kinda
on
jealous.
tonight. Yeah.
Kind of jealous.
Yeah.
That's what's up. Family's always good, man. Family's good. Are they in tech as well, or in different industries?
Oh no, actually, I think they was in different areas of business before, and they also did very well with that. And they got into missionary work, and then they got out there and started setting up a business there to support themselves, and fell in love there. It was beautiful and
living a good life.
Yeah,
We trying to push this tech so we could one day live a good life. But hey, that's how it works sometimes, man.
Yes,
that's how it works.
It is. But we'll be there shortly. But we got
Working.
too much work to do, though. We
Working.
got
Work
a
to
lot
do.
of work to do.
A lot of tech work to
Yeah,
do.
we
We're
can't
trying to
relax
get the tech
right now.
going.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah.
what it is. Now, you mentioned this weekend. We had a very interesting weekend. You want to talk about that real quick?
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Okay.
Yeah, let's talk about the HHAB. Yeah, so he's an African American Bloggers Association. Yeah, we got a nice invite to them to talk about how we do content here, content curation. You know, we have a collaborative with Empower Magazine, but also too, Gary made some good announcements. You want to tell them about the announcements you made about what's upcoming, since you said it to the public?
Man, I don't know what I tell them. I don't even remember.
You told
what
them
I say?
About the big move in migration.
Yeah. I mean, it's not that. I mean, you know me, man. I downplay shit. I probably mention it because it needs to be mentioned as far as what we were offering there.
Yes.
You know, we gave away a free podcasting package over at HHAB. Shout out to Tiffany. She was our winner. So we're going to be helping her curate her podcast here pretty soon. But yeah, we will be making some physical changes here pretty soon for the studio, so stay tuned. We'll talk more about that as the time gets a bit closer. But we had a great time, man. We talked tech on the panel, which felt good, and it says something for people to see what we're doing and believe in us, you know.
Yes.
And obviously being put in a position to sow back, and that's what we do for you all each and every week. We're here to help your lives become more fluent and easier, more efficient through technology. That's why we sit at this table each and every week, giving you the ins and outs to things that are surrounding technology. Am I right, Jay?
That's it. That's what we do. That's what we're pushing to help everybody continue to ride this wave and find different things they can benefit from this tech.
Indeed, man. Indeed. So without further ado, let's roll right into it because there's a lot of things happening, a lot of stuff we want to talk about, and a lot of stuff we have opinions about. So.
Yes.
We know some of y'all right now are watching on your smartphones. You're using your Apple devices. Some of y'all are using Android devices. Some of y'all are big stuff. Y'all are watching on your PCs, your Macs. You're watching on some other appliance or device that gives you connectivity. But one of the leaders that's been around for quite some time to help usher in the personal computing revolution was good old Microsoft. And they've announced the end of support for their latest platform, which is Windows 10, and that's coming in less than 10 years. Jay, let's talk about this a little bit, man. Support ending from Redmond. What's up with that?
Yeah, so, Microsoft went with a totally different type of OS deployment model or release model when they brought in the Windows 10. And, unlike the Windows 7 and 8, it was like a new release came for them every 3 to 4 years.
Yep.
That between that span, because there's a lot of changes. A lot of things occurred in the industry. We started having things that work with cloud. So we also had the things for the storage. Things became more available. Microsoft started with the SkyDrive, then they got the OneDrive. Then also they started linking things in to start working with more mobility hardware, to handle the speed and things such as that. So now the operating systems are able to leverage and take advantage of some things we're going to talk about later.
Sure.
But this 2025 deal is very interesting to see. They plan on Windows 10 having a shelf life for that long. That's a long time.
That is a long time
To have a shelf life of one operating system. And they're not planning on bringing another operating system out. It's still going to be built on a Windows 10 kernel, and they're going to still offer support for those systems. But the thing we need to be aware of, those, unfortunately, some of you are probably going to learn the hard way, that a lot of those who get into Fault Creators Update, you may have received a message on your machine telling you that this machine is not supported. So if you get that message, it's a wrap for you. You will never be able to get another update from the Windows 10. So basically, you just learned that your system hardware that you have is obsolete.
And here's the thing. I think that's a good thing. It's obviously Apple has done well by people to say, hey, this will be supported back until 2010,
Yes.
2011, depending on what you're on. I think 2009 and earlier Macs, anything on the Pro, was it the Power PC or whatever? I can't remember the chip they were using.
They were using
before.
PowerPC. They had the PowerPC.
Was it PowerPC?
And then they went to Intel.
Okay, so
Yeah.
so Power PC chips, like they can't get High Sierra, right?
Right.
So matter of fact, I don't think they can get Sierra. I
Right.
think it was El Capitan
Yeah.
and below.
Yeah.
Like you
Before
can't
you
do
got
past
to
El
that-
Capitan.
I think it was right at what was that thing called? What was that
What?
version called? It was right at not Vista Mac. What OS version was that? I can't remember right now.
Leopard? No.
I think it was around
Lion?
Leopard's time.
Mountain
it was around
Lion?
that time when they
Okay.
stopped supporting the Power PC.
Yeah, something. But,
And
but
then-
basically they cut,
Yeah,
and
they
it's
cut it.
hard. And
Right.
I think that's smart and wise because hey, it makes no sense to keep trying to put the latest operating system on old hardware.
Right.
You put yourself in a hole. Obviously, you want to stay up to date because from a security perspective. So if you're listening, you watching right now, update your devices. Like straight up, no chaser. Update your devices.
I'm glad you said that.
But it is true, and we're gonna keep it 100. It is true that if you've got an older computer, certain software runs better on older machines. Now, you don't want normal IT people will not tell you that. We'll always say, hey, because security wise, you need to keep it up to date.
Right.
But if you've got 2 gigs of RAM, that machine probably runs better on Windows XP or Windows 7 than it
Right.
does on Windows 10.
Right.
Just be honest with you.
Exactly.
Even though Microsoft says, well, our latest operating system is more efficient, so it utilizes memory better. Okay, tell somebody that has a 5-year-old machine, a 6-year-old machine with 2 gigs of RAM,
Right.
like that's actually has applications installed. I mean, you feel that. So
Right.
I say that to say this: 2025 is that date. Now, but there's an asterisk. If your machine can't support Windows, like you said, creators update, you might be over. Anniversary update, you might be over.
Yes, it.
Like it's just what it is, man.
That's it. And I was just thinking about how this whole model that Windows went to, and like you were saying, we have to realize in this age, things are engineered and only have such a life cycle.
Yeah.
I mean, it's only going to be able to be on the shelf for a period of time. So getting your mindset now that it's only 4 years for a desktop.
It's so funny though, because that's always been our enterprise, right?
Yeah.
But when you talk about at your home,
Yeah.
people will hold on to. I mean,
They
and
do,
here's the
they
thing:
do.
I'm guilty, right?
Yeah.
Let me keep it a buck. I am guilty. I've got an old machine. I've got it over in my lab. I've got an AMD with 8 gigs of RAM in it.
Is
And
it a
that
black
AMD,
box?
No. It's a black
That's
box.
why I need.
It's
yeah,
black
you
box.
built it right.
But
Customized it. Yeah.
at the time, yeah.
Okay.
But I promise you that motherboard. I forgot the chipset that the motherboard is, but or the socket that motherboard is for that processor. But
Okay.
it's old.
Okay.
It's probably 6 to 7 years old.
So like the first generation i5,
No,
i3.
no. We're not even Intel. We're
Intel
AMD.
Core
It's
dude?
AMD.
Oh, AMD. Okay,
It's
AMD.
AMD.
Okay.
I just
Okay.
can't remember exactly what it is. But it's hard sometimes to get rid of things that are functional. I got an old
agree.
Core 2 Duo MacBook Pro.
Oh, okay.
That's still functional
Okay.
that I might
Okay.
be selling to the intern.
Okay.
But it works. I put an
Yes.
SSD in there. I put 8
Oh, well,
gigs
that's
of RAM in
definitely
there.
right. Oh,
So
okay.
it runs
Yeah.
smooth where I'm
Right.
not feeling. But until I go to something like this, which is i7 16 gigs of RAM,
Yeah.
I go back to a Core 2 Duo, I feel the difference.
Right.
So I say that to say it's like we want to hold on to things that are working for us, but Windows is like, nah,
Yeah.
no more updates for you.
Right.
No soup for you is what they
Right,
basically
exactly,
saying. No soup
exactly.
for you. So, but that's what it is. If y'all got more questions about that, about your update cycle, you want to dive deep into that conversation, you got a machine that hadn't been updated, you got some questions, hit us up, Technocrats at thesphere.tv. Shoot us an email. We want to know because we're here to help. Now, speaking of Windows, they made a decision to roll out a additional version, which I'm gonna speak about in detail. They rolled out something new called Windows 10 Pro Workstation Edition.
Yes.
So for the layman person, don't even worry about this, bro. Don't even be concerned. If you
Right.
got a home machine, you are good with Windows 10 Home. I don't even want to start diving in deep with the conversation about, why you should update your home machine to Pro and then from Pro to Workstation, because the truth be told, you're not as a consumer, you're truly not going to notice the difference.
No, you wouldn't.
You might not even have the hardware to actually feel the difference, let alone to justify the cost of upgrading from the $100 from home to Pro, and then they haven't decided if there's going to be a cost difference between Pro and Workstation. But let's talk about it a little bit. Now, for those of you who are in the business environment and you consider making this update, there are a few features that are going to be listed inside of Workstation Edition. So let's talk about that. We've got the resilient file system, right? So REFS. So basically higher fault tolerance. That's pretty much what it is. It's designed for 10, 20 terabytes, 40 terabytes, 50 terabytes of data. You need that, right? Persistent memory. In a nutshell, what this means for people is files that you're constantly utilizing are going to sit in memory even when the machine's turned off, in VRAM style of memory. So next up, faster file sharing. So basically, if you got storage on a SAN somewhere, you've got data that's living away from your computer on a NAS, whatever you have going on, you want faster rewrite access to that data because we're now storing these 2-3 terabyte files, especially if you're in a video. You're storing big data somewhere else. And I don't want to, not the big data nomenclature that people use.
Yes,
But I mean like literally just large files. We're not talking Word, Excel, PowerPoint, PDF files. We're talking
Huge
MP4s.
chunks,
We're
data
talking
stores, huge chunks,
Exactly. We're talking big VHD files, stuff like that. And I'm not going to tell you what VHD is, so because if you know what it is, then you know what we're talking about.
Exactly.
So you've got big files, and last but not least, extended hardware support. Goes without saying, you want something to be able to have access to some of the latest and greatest of hardware, especially a lot of different makes, models, and vendors. You want to be able to support bigger RAM sets. You want to be able to support different hard drive configurations. You want to be able to support some of the more upgraded processors, the server style processors, because you need the horsepower for a true workstation. Jay, did I pretty much sum that up for the people?
Yeah, you did. You covered it very well. The main 4 features they can look forward to and help people to identify, is this something you need to even consider purchasing?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if you're talking about running not 5. If you're talking about running 2, 4, 8 terabytes of RAM, this is something you want to look into.
Yeah.
But if you're not talking about running that, if
Yeah.
there's no need for your device to run that type, and I did say RAM, not
Right.
hard drive space.
Right, RAM.
If
Yeah.
you're not trying to run that type of RAM, then we're not having this conversation.
Yeah.
But for the person who does want to run that, for the person who's making these considerations, Workstation Edition might be a good look.
But you know what? One thing I do want to touch on,
Sure.
though, this is interesting. They make this announcement after you see the increase of Linux rising, SUSE and Red Hat, right?
Yeah.
But Apple just had at that conference the announcement about the iMac Pro.
Oh yeah,
In
yeah,
that workstation.
yeah, that was beautiful
That
too.
is powerful.
That was-
so,
yeah, yes.
and how that supports they're going to support teraflops and all those things such as that. So I think Windows said, wait a minute, we need to go ahead and get behind this,
Yeah.
and try to get us a release candidate for people who won't want to leave us, because Windows just start breaking into the big audio visual engineering thing that Mac has dominated for years.
Yeah.
And then I think a lot of people who was looking at that announcement probably said, oh, wow, budget time coming around, in December, October, whatever how you do your quarters. It's time for us to go ahead and put some money aside to start investing in this. So I think this is very timely for Microsoft to announce this after Mac made that announcement they did about they was going into in between the regular consumer and the server grade
I agree.
editions workstation.
I agree, and you've got people that are going to be working in VR and AR environments.
You need this.
And
You're gonna need
you
it.
need the horsepower.
Right. You're gonna
You
need
need the computational horsepower to make this happen, which also means that you're going to have a conversation with the finance person, because you're going to need the budget.
Oh yeah, the budget got it got yeah.
Your budget's got to be right to be able to even build these type of machines.
Right.
And if your finance person's acting funny, they're not talking to you about your money, we got some people you can talk to, and that's the Houston Housewives of Finance. So, did you know that only 4 states in the United States offer financial education? 33%, or more than 77 million of Americans, don't pay their bills on time. 39% of Americans carry credit card debt from month to month, and 39% of adults say they don't have enough money in savings. Don't become one of these statistics. Let's Houston Housewives of Finance advise you on increasing your cash flow and becoming your own money manager by scheduling your complimentary personal financial strategy. Contact Houston Housewives of Finance today at 1-844-700-4463 or email them at info@houstonhousewivesoffinance.com. Ask them how you can participate in a complimentary financial literacy workshop near you. Houston Housewives of Finance are the new faces of the new age of financial services. Yes, people, please get your money together.
Yes, get your
and
money
by the
right.
way, for those that are tuned in right now on Facebook, remember, we're only here for a short while, so we're going to cut this Facebook live feed, but we're going to keep the show rolling. What that means for you is that you need to do 4 quick things. 1, head over to the sphere.tv/Technocrats and subscribe. We've got options for you: iTunes, SoundCloud, Google Play Music, and of course, Stitcher for our techie folks. And while you're there, hit some of the stars. Give us some feedback. Give us some constructive criticism so we can continue to build great shows for you. While you're also there, hit the share button. Share this out with your family, your friends, your colleagues, your loved ones, as well as your not so loved ones. And if you enjoy what we're doing, sow back into us. Sow a seed over at the sphere.tv/donate, either via our single donation or hit our Patreon, where you can set up to do monthly subscriptions to the network. Thanks again for tuning in to Technocrats. Remember, we're going to keep this party rolling, and we want you to tune in. So we'll see you next time on the Sphere. All right. Keeping this party rolling.
Yes.
So next up to bat. Let's talk a little bit about Google. Now, Google wants to do something a little bit different, and their desire is basically to make the internet just a bit faster through some complex algorithms. Jay, walk the people through what Google's trying to do here.
Well, as we know, everything is basically built upon speed, and time is money. And as we get more and more of the different type of hardware and these applications that come about, as we talked about in AR and VR, and if you want more information on that, check out Empower Magazine. And I have an article.
Better plug it, Jay.
Discussing just so
You better plug it.
On edge computing and cloud computing, edge computing, and fog computing. And one of the things that this is an example of is pretty much is edge computing, is trying to get enough data to these resources or hardware that's going to leverage these resources in enough time and efficiency. So they want it to be no data latency at all. So let's break it down. So let's say, for instance, you have your phone, your handset. Your phone is acting as an intermediary between your AR glasses or your VR goggles if you're out somewhere and about. Your phone is talking to the cellular network, your Verizon, T-Mobile, or AT&T. And let's say that you have your phone and an app there and it's rendering stuff in your glasses, but you need some high computation. What can get that data to you faster? Because your phone's not going to be able to handle it. We talked about before the battery life. We talked about the limitations between the processors in the phone. And more the phones are getting to the point to where they're just going to be conduits that connected to the tower. So you're going to see where eventually they're not going to be so big. The buzzwords or the specs is not going to be highlighting computation and RAM as much, because when they move to 5G, we can theoretically go a gig or more of coming download and processing. You're not really going to need all that, because basically you're just having something as a display output or something, an intermediary to go to your goggles or your headset. So, but what's going to be handling all that payload on the side is going to be the new internet, and that's what Google is doing to build, to make that easy to build, not just to serve a few people, but think about it, to serve all the billions of devices around the world. In the sense that will be leveraging these things. So this is when we get into play that they have work on a different algorithm to fulfill this need for speed that they have to be placed into the internet, and to make sure that these connections and things are established rapidly, or in the sense to where they seem like they are always connected. I don't know if we're able to, for those who are watching the podcast, able to see, and for instance, that they show a little picture here from the article in Futurism, and they showing the things inside the factory, and they showing the different pipes and things to give you an idea of how things will flow, and but these things are being routed and strategically being to flow as conduits to route this data to these destinations. So this is one of the things, and Google is basically touching on, but we know also AT&T is doing the same thing too, as they try to meet all these challenges to support those who are going to want to have mobility with the AR and the VR headset. And another thing too that really is going to leverage this is going to be the autonomous vehicles. The autonomous vehicles are going to require a lot of data. Think about all the computation and instrumentation that's inside. Well, think about all the instrumentation device and that's going to be inside these vehicles, making sure they're able to tie into geofencing, tie into the GPS, making sure diagnostic information such as the status of the battery cell, such as the advertisements coming in the car, serving 4 or more people who may be into the vehicle, and then other things for security, things that has to be going on in the system. So it's going to take a lot of good networks to be able to support this, and this is why they're having to look at different algorithms to improve upon what they have in place now.
I would say this, Jay. I hope they hurry up. And this is the reason why I say this. And for those that are watching us right now, period, look at me right now. I want to talk to you directly. Something my network manager told me a long time ago. He said, you have speed, you have reliability, you have money. You can only have 2 of them.
Yes.
Can't have all 3. So if you want reliability and speed, you got to spend money. If you want to save money, then you're going to have to, if you want to save money and you want it fast, it's not going to be reliable. Or if you want to save money and you want it reliable, it's not going to be fast. You cannot have all 3. So what I want to see is Google spend this money, build this infrastructure, make it fast as possible, because if the network is the bottleneck, then hardware, software, and consumers will suffer. Tell me, have you ever had a good time on a slow wireless network?
No,
have you ever had a good time and your phone is in 2G instead of 3G or LTE? Like, it's not cool. Like, am I right?
Right.
So that's the thing that I want to see. Google, and I like to make it plain for the folks. We need fast internet because we've got things that we're talking about. We showed y'all, what was it, last week? We showed them the blueprint from Apple for the new glasses.
Yes.
They're coming.
Right.
Like, that's something that's happening. But it's gonna be a slower process if we don't get to 5G speeds, if we don't get to 6G speeds.
Right.
We need to be able to have data connected, and if Google can do this by rewriting algorithms, by prioritizing data, I'm all for it.
Yes, so am I. And like we touched on, I mean, basically what's going to support all these conduits, AR, VR, autonomous vehicles, and the drones, is going to have to be a lot of advertisements. And speaking about the advertisements and advertising, is this portion of the show is sponsored by the Spear.
Hey.
Are you starting your business and looking for a place to advertise? Do you have a need to reach out to thousands of people across the world to build your brand or sell your product? If so, get your product placement and advertising needs handled right here at the Spear. We offer a wide variety of content delivery platforms, including iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud, YouTube, and Stitcher. Plus, we have a vast demographic reach within the United States, as well as modern countries across the globe. Our enriched content and inspiring dialogue, coupled with your strategic ad, is surely to hit the mark every time. Call us today at area code 832-772-7789 or send an email over to advertise@thespear.tv. And there you go.
That's it. And there it is. All right. Let's. So I want to stay in this. We're talking future tech, right? I want to stay in this space because I think this is important. Let's migrate to what we call our digital trends. Now, in our digital trends, this is where we have these conversations that surround technology, or technology that's surrounding you, shall I say, and it's continuing to grow and grow and grow. One of the big things that we talk about a lot here on this show is artificial intelligence. So I want to take some time and really kind of break this down for people. Like, I'm a tech guy. Obviously, Jay, you're a tech guy. One of the biggest things that we love and adore is sustainable technology, meaning it's here and it functions like it's supposed to. It's not just some fad that gets you hype, and then when you utilize it, or just when you use it, it doesn't live up to the hype. We like things that work and work well. One of the things coming down the pipe is artificial intelligence, and with that particularly, one of the concerns is how it will be implemented and whether or not there should be some concern. Now, we've heard and we've talked about Elon Musk's plans and his concerns. We've talked about him going at it with Mark Zuckerberg, and how Mark was like, Elon's being irresponsible, and Elon's like, Mark is not well equipped to talk about this this particular topic. But let's talk a little bit about Mark Cuban and his particular concepts of what he believes is coming down the pipe in the next 10, 20, 30 years in AI. Now, one of the biggest warnings that Mark likes to give, and other people have said this as well, Richard Dawkins said the same thing, we're going to have an issue with jobs.
Oh, yes.
There's going to be a problem, and let me make it plain for the people, because I want them to truly understand. Once upon a time, you went to a drive-thru to get your money from the bank. There was no such thing as an automated teller machine, as in ATM. As in, every time you went to the bank, you talked to a real person. Like, am I right?
That's it.
That was it. Gas was 99 cents,
and
you talked to a real person at the bank. Today, there may be one or two tellers. There may be two ATMs.
Yes.
An ATM is a very, very I would say the entry level or introduction to artificial intelligence. It's coded to ask you questions. You give canned responses, or you can put in a specific response. It will notate your response and then follow up with whatever actions that are associated with that response. So basically, if then statements and then a case statement to say case $20, issue $20. Case 50, issue like that's how simple it is. But for all intents and purposes, that is artificial intelligence. It's at a very, very basic level. So it's not overly intelligent, but it can understand your input and give you rational output. That's the base level. take that up a notch to the point to where you can now call a company and you're not even talking to a person for the first 5 or 10 minutes.
There
You're
go.
talking to you're talking to
Right.
something that has been coded to hear your responses in whatever your accent is. It doesn't even matter your accent
Right.
anymore. You don't even have to talk like a robot.
Right.
It will understand your response and respond to you based on machine learning, based on algorithms that are processing the words you chose on the back end to basically come up with a summation of what you said, ask you to confirm it, and then give you applicable responses to what you said. That's the next level up. Now, imagine just having a canned conversation with somebody like I'm talking to you right now. And you're responding, but what's responding is a robot. That's where we're headed. And when we get to that point, guess what happens? A lot more ATMs are pushed out. Because now you've got not just the ATM machine, but the teller that was at the window is now artificial intelligence. It may look like a person,
Right.
but it ain't a real person
Yeah,
anymore.
right.
Everything you now do, you go to a Burger King or McDonald's, you go to a Chipotle, and the person's making your food. That might not be a person anymore. That person may be replaced by artificial intelligence that could understand that you asked for extra sour cream. So it gives you 2 more ounces of sour cream than it
Right.
would have. That knows you asked for both chicken and beef.
Yeah.
So it gives you an equal portion of chicken
Man, you
and
making
beef.
me hungry,
I mean,
man.
I'm just
already
saying,
hungry if I came here,
I'm a little hungry too. So I just
Already.
want to throw it out there.
I may stop by there after
But I want to give people a true understanding of what this means, man.
Yes.
That's like the things that we do today that will be changed by artificial intelligence.
You know what? You touched on something about the customer service aspect, calling in
Yeah.
for support.
Hit it.
I don't think people realize how you are being programmed to accept it.
Yeah.
Do you know how many jobs are eliminated by one supercomputer that's tied into a database that can have tens of thousands of multiple circuits for different people to call in at one time? And it can funnel and process all these different people asking for different things and direct them to just a few people in a call center. That took
Crazy.
away hundreds and thousands of jobs.
Yep.
Just think
Across
about
this
it. Yeah, across
country.
the world, just for that.
Mm-hmm.
Just for that one thing that you gave an example of.
Yep. And we don't. It reminds us of how we're spot on.
Yeah.
We are spot on here on Technocrats.
Yeah.
Just like we told y'all that Pokemon Go ushered you into accepting augmented reality. Same way Snapchat ushers you into accepting augmented reality. This is what companies are doing. They're finding ways to slide in new technology to make it easier for you to accept and adopt. And you're adopting it, and you don't even know you're adopting it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
it's only getting smarter. You talk to Google and Siri and Alexa. We talk to them every day.
Right.
We probably talk to them more than we talk to our family members. Let me keep it a buck.
Yeah, a lot of
I
us
talk
are-
to Alexa
yeah,
every day.
Right.
Every day.
Right.
I talk to Google every other day.
Right.
I talk to them way more than I talk to my mom and my dad. I'm
Yeah.
just being honest.
Right.
Like, we're accepting artificial intelligence in a way it feels like second nature.
Exactly.
We're speeding up exponentially, man.
And we're talking about this AI. We talk about the advanced roboticry, and then the droids coming along. But this is one place I hope they don't enter to in my lifetime.
Talk about it.
And this is from our sponsor. Now, this portion of the show is sponsored by Elite Dental Wellness.
Whew.
I hope not to never have to get operated on by a robot or a droid.
It might. You never know. I don't know if
It may be
Ashandra will let
coming out
that
of
happen.
China. Maybe come out of China soon. I don't know.
True.
At Elite Dental Wellness, our vision is to create a welcoming practice that will offer exceptional dental care and a lifetime of dental wellness. We are committed to the finest possible oral care and the overall health and well-being of our patients. Elite Dental Wellness is built upon a foundation of integrity, expertise, and service. Through our commitment to modern dentistry, continuing education, and friendly atmosphere, we strive to make our patients feel that they are part of our family. Dentistry can be scary, daunting, and uncomfortable. Dr. Batiste and her team work tirelessly to ensure your comfort. Make your appointment today with Dr. Ashandra Batiste at Elite Dental Wellness at 713-789-8680.
There it is.
That's it. Get your
Cha-ching.
shine on. Get your shine on.
Get it right, man. How do you feel, Jay, talking about this artificial intelligence, man, talking about the loss of jobs. And we're not talking hundreds. We're talking thousands per city.
Right.
Thousands per city will be lost over the next 10 years
Right.
with artificial intelligence.
Bro, I feel like it's going to be about 10 million jobs in the U.S. in 20 years.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
We got to look at where this information is coming from.
You know, there's only 360 million people.
That's
10
why-
million jobs. That's a good chunk. We're talking 3%. Like, I mean, and we try to stay. We're at what 4.2% unemployment right now. You're talking about taking 3% of the jobs away.
I say
wow.
10 million jobs. Let me tell you why.
Wow.
All these new factories in manufacturing and warehousing are going to what are they utilizing now?
Drones.
Yeah.
Yep.
Utilizing drones. And they got advanced robots now. Instead of a human riding a forklift or a human riding a little cart, the things robotic are going themselves and pulling the parts and pulling the items that you want to order.
Yep.
They got trucks
Shout
going
out
around.
to Amazon.
Yeah, Amazon. They got trucks now going around making the pizza. Only one person on the pizza truck. So instead of you calling a place, operating, you got 4 or 5 people making a pizza. Now the truck is doing everything. It's timed by geofencing when it's in your area. I just saw this on something on what was it?
It's like this is new to me.
Yeah.
Oh, well, tell me, Jay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So
That's kinda dope.
So you put an order in. They convert this this truck, the van, and inside of there it has a whole process where it makes the pizza and it slices the pizza.
Wow.
So the person put it in, make the order through the app, and then it knows when you get close to the area. When it starts the process of spreading out the dough size, it puts all the toppings on and everything. And they saying it makes less mistakes. Of course, you have less waste of product and food. Then they mentioned too that it's also less suits they have to worry about and liability, because it's a pizza business is one of the business where people get the most injuries, the most cuts from, and things like that, and they have to worry about hygiene issues.
Gotcha.
So this thing is so successful because you're getting a fresh pizza.
Yeah,
hot
hot
pizza.
and ready. Like
Yeah.
that's really
And a-
hot and
and a-
ready.
and a
Like
cheaper-
really hot and ready.
And
yeah.
we thought $5.99 and $10 for a large pizza was already good, but now since it's just one person overhead
Yeah.
that's doing it, and pretty
Yeah.
soon it's gonna be powered by batteries. It's gonna be hard for these big chains to compete
Yeah.
with this. And think about all the people who get these jobs as pizza deliveries. That's just one thing they're gonna lose. So we talked about the manufacturing, talking about the warehouse industry. We talked about the trucks coming along. Think about all these people who got CDLs, driving school
Outta
bus,
there.
driving metro. You gone. Your job is gone.
Ooh, man. And Elon is pushing his semis.
Yeah.
And once that works,
Yes.
and it will work.
And it can go 24/7.
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on, man. You telling me other companies are going to follow?
Yes.
Man, that changes everything. From a transportation perspective, when things go autonomous, because they're using when we talk about autonomy, folks, we're talking about artificial intelligence. We're the same thing.
Yes.
Jay, this is changing the world.
That's just the manufacturing side.
And you said within how long?
I say in 10 years, I say within 10 years, I say that at least 10 million jobs are going to be gone as this picks off.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
I
heavy.
feel like it's going to, I feel like with this administration, the things that they're pushing, because they want to have a poor and a rich class, no one in between anymore. And then I feel like these other companies in this society who want to stay competitive, they're going to follow suit with these other people making these record profit revenues now, or profit now every year. And they're going to say, well, okay, we're going to have to let the staff go.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a detriment. It's going to be a detriment to society because I think we can get into that later in society now, I guess. That's a good show to talk about. But what's going to be the results of that and the effects of you not having a good circulating economy for any type of individual to find a job or employment now? And then, too, how is the politics going to play into it as to who gets picked for the job? We know that there are factors now with not only just education, but in race, discrimination, other issues that determine who gets a job. But what's going to be the factor determining point then, as opposed this one human out of these millions of people get this job to work with the robots doing everything else with the AI? See, it's not like a doom and gloom fear or blown out of proportion. It's already here. These things we're talking about, our audience, these things are already built. These things are already programmed and developed. These things are already in test sites around this country now, ready to go full scale. This is not nothing we're talking about. It's McDonald's like when in Colorado already. My sister just took a trip and they came and they told me it was one of the pilot sites to where they got the menu board and they have a thing when you got a kiosk, you do your order, and then the food thing comes down the line and it serves you.
Wow.
Okay, so it's getting to that point. Some of the Starbucks are looking at preparing coffee. So the AI, the
Poor
technology
baristas.
thing, it's just taking everybody. That's why I'm saying this is going to catch on like wildfire.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, because a profit margin.
Yes.
There's money to be made, right? There, and that's the thing. You know, one of the things I love about this show, because we don't just talk about technology. We're making it applicable for your life. Because we could bore you with the specs
we
of
can go
stuff
all hard into that,
and
but yeah.
dive deep in, you know, resilience file system. We can dive deep into storage and memory and SSD versus hybrids versus.
Yes.
We could do all that, but we want to make it applicable to you. In this particular conversation, this has a profit motive behind it.
Mm-hmm.
And the profit motive is what's going to push technology on you in that's why, like we talked about right now, when you got call centers that are fully autonomous, so to speak, you make these calls because they get to reserve so much more money instead of hiring folks out and training folks and paying benefits
And the retention,
and all that. Now I can just do software updates,
Right.
right? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So have that expectation. This also leads to the conversation. So we're talking about the financial parts of this. You know, this is why Zuckerberg said that we will need universal basic income for folks, because there won't be enough jobs available for people, because we're going to push technology to the point to where businesses would lose money by hiring people.
Right.
And when it gets to that point where they assume that they're going to lose money by hiring people, then the governments have to do something. Corporations continue to make more money. That means there's a few with a lot of money and a lot with no money.
But what the government is going to do about it if the people in government are for this?
That's the
thing what people are starting to see now.
And that's
People
where
are seeing it now. Right.
people have to become aware.
Right.
Because if you are unaware that your politician is low key screwing you,
Right.
then I mean, come on, folks, wake
Right.
up, like
Right.
for real.
Right.
For real. But that's another show.
Right.
I think Jay said that's Society Now. Tune in to
Yeah.
Society Now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make a note on they run a show and be like, hey, y'all need to have a conversation about this, because this is game changing.
Yes.
Jay, another dope episode, good
Yeah,
sir.
yes, yes,
Another
yes,
dope
yes,
episode,
indeed.
man. Let the people know where they can reach you if they want to talk AI with you, if they want to talk about this Windows Pro workstation. Where can they reach you at?
Hey,
my man?
y'all hit me up on Twitter. Hit me on Instagram. Also hit me up on Snapchat at AstroTesla80.
There it is. And of course, you need to hit me up anywhere and everywhere at G Hawkins. That's G Hawkins with a Z, across all your favorite social media sites, the new ones, the old ones. I might be somewhere at the post office. You just never know. Put me a smoke signal up, G Hawkins. Send me a carrier pigeon. It doesn't matter. At G Hawkins with a Z. Another great episode of Technocrats. We will see you all next time. Take care.